Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Jai Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Rama Kunja Bihari Jaya Rama Kunja Bihari Jaya Rama Kunja Bihari Jaya Rama Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you for welcoming me here today. I seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees that I might be able to speak something that is not embarrassing to Srila Vyasadeva and our parampara. So we are in the 10th canto. It's a never-ending canto, right? It just keeps going on and on and on. But it's ecstatic at every page, so that works out well. Let me see if I can share this. I should be able to share this, right? Here we go. And There we are. Okay. So in the 82nd chapter, and I'm in the wrong verse here. Okay, this is Krishna and Balaram meet the inhabitants of Vrindavan, and we are covering quite a few verses, 3 through 16. So I'll read the English translations for all the verses until we get to 16, and then we'll do the Sanskrit and get into it a little bit, okay? There we go. Verses 3 through 6, correct? Yeah, that's correct, right? That's correct.
Yes.
3 through 6. After ridding the earth of kings, Lord Parshurama, the foremost of warriors, created huge lakes from the king's blood at Samantaka Panchaka. Although he is never tainted by karmic reactions, Lord Parshurama performed sacrifices there to instruct people in general. Thus, he acted like an ordinary person, trying to free himself of sins. From all parts of Varsha, a great number of people now came to that Samanta Panchaka on pilgrimage. O descendant of Bharata, among those arriving at the holy place were many Vrishnis such as Gada, Prajumna, and Samba, hoping to be relieved of their sins. Akrura, Vasudeva, Ahuka, and other kings also went there. Aniruddha remained in Dwarka with Suchandra, Shuka, and Sarana to guard the city, together with Kritavarma, the commander of their armed forces. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Sri Krishna's grandson Aniruddha was remained in Dwarka to protect the city because he is originally Lord Vishnu's manifestation as the guardian of the spiritual planet Svetadvip. Go on to verses 7 and 8. The mighty Yadavas passed with great majesty along the road. They were attended by their soldiers who rode on chariots rivaling the airplanes of heaven, on horses moving with a rhythmic gait, and on bellowing elephants as huge as clouds. Also with them were many infantrymen as effulgent as celestial Vidyadharas. The Yadavas were so divinely dressed, being adorned with gold necklaces and flower garlands and wearing fine armor, that as they proceeded along the road with their wives, they seemed to be demigods flying through the sky. Verse 9. At Samanta Panchaka, the saintly Yadavas bathed and then observed a fast with careful attention. Afterward, they presented brahmanas with cows bedecked with garments, flower garlands, and gold necklaces. Verse 10. In accordance with scriptural injunctions, the descendants of Vrishni then bathed once more in Lord Parshurama's lakes and fed first-class brahmanas with sumptuous food. All the while they prayed, "May we be granted devotion to Lord Krishna." May we be granted devotion to Lord Krishna. May we be granted devotion to Lord Krishna. Purport. This second bath marked the end of their fasting on the following day. Verse 11. Then, with the permission of Lord Krishna, their sole object of worship, the Vrishnis ate breakfast and sat down at their leisure beneath trees that gave cooling shade. Verses are so sweet. They're not like philosophical powerhouses. They're just so nice. The Yadavas saw that many of the kings who had arrived were old friends and relatives. Here we go. The Matsyas, Ushinras, Koshalyas, Vidarbhas, Kurus, Srinjayas, Kambojas, Kaigayas, Madras, Kuntis, and the kings of Anarta and Kerala. They also saw many hundreds of other kings, both allies and adversaries. In addition, my dear King Parikshit, they saw their dear friends Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men and women who had been suffering in anxiety for so long. Verse 14. As the great joy of seeing one another made the lotuses of their hearts and faces bloom with fresh beauty, the men embraced one another enthusiastically, with tears pouring from their eyes, the hair on their bodies standing on end, and their voices choked up. They all felt intense bliss. Verse 15. The women glanced at one another with pure smiles of loving friendship, and when they embraced, their breasts smeared with saffron paste pressed against one another as their eyes filled with tears of affection. Verse 16. I'll read the Sanskrit, or attempt to anyway. Tato bivadyate vridan yavishtara bivadita swagatam kushalam prishtva chakru krishna katamita. We'll do the synonyms as well. Tataha, then. Abhivadya, offering obeisances. Te, they. Vidan, to their elders. Yavishtahai, by their younger relatives. Abhivaditaha, offered obeisances. Suagatam, comfortable arrival. Kushalam, and well-being. Prishtva, inquiring about. Chakrahu, they made. Krishna, about Krishna. Kataha, conversation. Mitaha, among one another. Translation. They all then offered obeisances to their elders and received respect in turn from their younger relatives. After inquiring from one another about the comfort of their trip and their well-being, they proceeded to talk about Krishna. Purport: these are the special dealings of Vaishnavas. Even the family entanglements that delude ordinary conditioned souls are no encumbrance for those whose family members are all pure devotees of the Lord. Impersonalists have no capacity for appreciating these intimate dealings, since their philosophy condemns as illusory any kind of personal emotional existence. When followers of impersonalism pretend to understand the loving relationships of Krishna and his devotees, they only create havoc for themselves and whoever listens to them. So there we have it. Let's see where we are here. Okay. Yeah, on one hand, Prabhupada makes such a big deal about personalism versus impersonalism. And it's often wondered as to why, it's actually a pretty big deal, because impersonalism negates what life is all about. Impersonalism negates the purpose of life. Krishna is the entirety of life. There's nothing outside of Krishna. So when Krishna expands into persons, right, and he endows us persons with qualities that he possesses, then, and why does he do that? he does that in order to increase his enjoyment. He doesn't need us for his enjoyment. He's self-sufficient. He's Atmanavedana. He has he has no reason to go outside of himself. Yet he expands himself in order to enjoy loving relationships. That's the purpose. Like when philosophers wonder, why are we here? Let's think about it. Why are we here? That's why we're here. We're here to enjoy loving relationships with Krishna. So to negate this individuality, this personalism, is to negate the existence of every person, of every living entity, really, because we see every living entity as person. We don't negate the personhood of a worm just because of its body. The same way we don't negate the personhood, although, it just popped into my mind, human beings, for whatever reason, we're so susceptible to this crap, in American history, at least, we negated the personhood of people because they had a black body or because they had a female body, So it's, it really brings it home when you think about these things, which is in recent history, these things are going on. They're still going on to this day, really. So we're negating all of that. And ultimately, when you keep talking about what it's negating, we're negating Krishna himself. We're negating God, because it's all, when it's all one, there's no differentiation between God and us. Then we're all God, but by the same token, none of us are God. There is no God. It's atheistic philosophy. It's atheism. There's no, when there's no exchange, there's no reason for anything, right? So where does God come into the picture? Okay, in the Padma Purana, there's a verse that says, Lord Shiva told the goddess Durga, "My dear Devi, although the Vedas recommend worship of demigods, the worship of Lord Vishnu is topmost. However, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is the rendering of service to Vaishnavas who are related to Vishnu." And that's what these verses are sort of focused on, right? Hridayananda Maharaj sort of underlines this aspect of impersonalism. But we're seeing the devotees meet with each other. And when the devotees meet with each other, it's just a glorious, wonderful thing. Because Krishna is in the heart of every living being. But Krishna is particularly apparent in the heart of a devotee. Devotees are not better than everybody else, but it just makes sense that devotees are more in touch with Krishna's presence in their hearts, because people who are not devotees, they don't look for Krishna. They're happily oblivious to the presence of Krishna in their hearts. It's not a put down, it's just a fact. And when I say devotee, I mean, anybody who has an active relationship with God. So therefore, being in the presence of a devotee is nothing short of blissful, as stated in these verses. The devotees, they come together, they embrace each other. It's warm, it's wonderful. I was in a theater company that traveled a lot. It was a touring company. And whenever I was in town and had the time, I would always look up to see if there was an ISKCON center there, and try to get there, borrow the keys to the van, because usually we had one van for like this group of people. And sometimes I would drive there, sometimes I'd get dropped off, whatever the case may be. But I would meet these devotees, and immediately there was a sense of warmth. There was no awkwardness. I mean, sometimes there'll be awkwardness meeting new people, but there was no sense of awkwardness. We all had this common bond of acknowledging Krishna and of loving Krishna and trying to love Krishna and 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 loving each other sort of automatically, de facto love, So it was wonderful. So we would take prasadam together, and there was just so much there. So when Vaishnavas get together, it's sort of automatically deep. It automatically goes deep. Uh, so we meet and we embrace each other, and well, maybe we don't wash each other's feet, but that can happen. But we offer each other something to drink. We share prasadam with each other, and we reveal our minds. Now, not that I met this devotee in Arizona or wherever it was, and all of a sudden just like filled my guts. That's not what I'm talking about. Although I do find it much easier to confide in devotees. It's not, and don't take this as a blanket thing. It's because devotees are all over the map, and it's not that we should automatically trust every devotee. Um, because if somebody's wearing the tilak or has the shika or is carrying the bag, it's not a guarantee of one's emotional, physical, or any otherwise safety. Okay, let's just make that clear. But however, in these verses, they're talking about family and friends, and that friendship runs so deep. And I would posit that it runs deeper than other types of friendships and familial relationships because it goes as deep as is possible to go deep. Now, as a human being, it's you can go deeper than you can go if you're in a dog body. Perhaps I'm actually speculating here. But when you go to God, when your common denominator is Krishna, then that's at the deepest that anyone can go. Doesn't matter if you're limited to a dog body, or if you're limited to a human body, or if you're limited to a demigod body, right? Because they have bodies superior to human bodies. It's still the deepest you can ever go is to go to the level of God consciousness, the level of bhakti. That's why bhakti inspires us so much. And we feel that bliss, and we feel that connection, that satisfaction, that fulfillment. And we might not feel it every minute of every day or every time we pick up the japa bag, but we feel it, or we have faith in it, and we're on our way toward feeling it. We're looking for it. We're searching for it because something about it rings so true, or we see it in other people, so we're going for it. And that bliss can be had just by meeting with people. It's not a mundane meeting, because strictly by dint of just acknowledging that Krishna is in our hearts, and I see you, and when I see you, I think of Krishna, and then that leads to, as it says in this last verse, the kata, Krishna kata. So we were talking with each other about Krishna. So many of you are regular Bhakti Center Bhagavatam Class listeners, and that's happening here with each other. We hearing from each other, sharing, at the end of the talk, sharing comments, asking questions, inquiring. These are all various levels, various degrees, thicknesses of love. So that coming together and talking about Krishna is imperative to maintaining the inspiration to continue, and the fulfillment that we get. Because we're not on the plane of a Srila Prabhupada right now, most of us anyway. And 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 so we can't just talk to Krishna point blank the way he did and see Krishna point blank the way he did. But we see Krishna in other people. So when I enjoy someone's company, when I admire their qualities, I always try to remember to link it to Krishna. Well, this person is wonderful. I see the Krishna's quality of this coming through this person. It doesn't negate the person. The person is glorious because if I'm seeing that quality come through this person, that means Krishna has blessed this person with that quality. I recently came across a few verses from the Hari Bhakti Vilas, which some of you here, I think, will recognize. I'll just read these very quick verses. Those who desire to obtain all success in this life and the next should always and by all means try to associate with the pure devotees of the Lord. Let us offer our humble obeisances to the shoes of those great devotees who are never deviated from the process of attaining life's ultimate goal. Even a most sinful person can get freed from all sinful reactions simply by associating with those who take pleasure in associating with exalted devotees of the Lord. Freed from all sinful reactions simply by associating with those who take pleasure in associating with exalted devotees of the Lord. Sounds like you don't even have to necessarily take pleasure in it, as long as you're with those who do. It's such a beautiful thing that is so philosophically consistent that just associate with those who love Krishna. Just associate with those who are trying to love Krishna. Associate with those who are just interested in Krishna. Just connect any way that we can connect. We just connect any way that we can connect. And the benefit that we get from that is literally unlimited. It's literally eternal. It never leaves us. So when we associate with devotees, and I've fallen prey to this, especially over the past decade, of like just talking politics. Not that you should never talk politics, if you need to talk politics, talk politics. But what's our primary focus? Our primary focus in our relationship is our love for Krishna, is our desire for Krishna. That ardent desire, I think is how the verse put it. I always loved the song "My Sweet Lord" by George Harrison, right? But once I became a devotee, I still liked the song, but I thought that's a little philosophically lightweight, but I still liked it, But then I evolved from that stage, and I realized actually it's a very philosophically profound song. And there are not a lot of lyrics to the song, but it talks about that ardent desire. And you can hear it in his singing, I really want to see you. I really want to be with you. That's basically what he repeats. It's my sweet Lord, hallelujah, Hare Krishna. I really want to see you. I really want to be with you. And that's the most profound thing there is. I really want to see you, Lord. I really want to be with you. And just chant it like a mantra. And in fact, we do chant it like a mantra every day, but it doesn't take the form of, I really want to see you. I really want to be with you. Semantically, it takes the form of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I really want to see you, Lord. I really want to be with you. But it takes so long. This desire alone will give us such advancement. So I really want to see you. I can see you, and I can see you through your devotees. Especially if I'm mindful enough to look for you there. Look for Krishna in the eyes of the devotees. Look for Krishna in the eyes of the non-devotees. They're just covered over, that's all. They're more covered over than a devotee. Just like I was. Look for Krishna in that beautiful flower. that you pass by on the street. Maybe not these days, depending on where you are. Look for Krishna in the eyes of that dog. See that worm struggling after the rain on the sidewalk. See Krishna there. See Krishna in the sidewalk, man. Because the sidewalk is also Krishna. Because there's nothing outside of Krishna. It's okay to walk on the sidewalk if you're wondering about that. We don't want to walk on God, but it's okay to walk on the sidewalk because it's Krishna's energy. Everything is Krishna's energy. I see God there, Mike. Thank you. All right. I think it's time to open up. I'm so happy to see so many friends here. So many people have been so supportive to me over a long period of time. I didn't see any of the chat, but I do see that Ishwari Sundari has raised her hand. So what do you got, Ishwari?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jana, thank you for such a wonderful class. Sorry, my video has been disabled, so you could see the beautiful picture of Krishna instead of my old aging face. So thank you. This is very interesting. It's something that I think about often is how do we see Krishna in other people? And sometimes it becomes hard because, as you said, maybe we don't see it. This world is a hard world, and we're constantly getting bombarded by more hardness. It's, the media is so negative, and it's this person bombed this person, that person killed this one, somebody was found here, like cruelty, this, that. And it's very rare that you see something positive being posted. So it's like it's even fed to us on a daily basis to just look at the negative and not the positive. And so sometimes we do find it hard to see Krishna and everything. And I also think like we want to see Krishna and we're thinking about like, oh, like I want to see a beautiful blue man standing in front of me. So yeah, so I guess, or maybe me, let me speak just on my, from my behalf. That's what I kind of like found it so hard to see Krishna, but it's so true to be able to thank you. The Krishna picture was better, but okay. To be able to see Krishna and other people, to see Krishna is to see Krishna in everything. And when we look at it from that perspective, no matter how much negativity is sent our way, we could start seeing the beauty in the world also. We could see it in the little things. Like, yeah, like maybe it's just that one little yellow flower creeping up from a crack on the street, and there's Krishna making his way through all the hardness that we constantly see each day. So yeah, thank you so much for that reminder. Really appreciate the class, Yadunath. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thanks for that comment. Yeah, Krishna can really be our shelter in that regard. When things get to be too much, just go to Krishna. It's for many of us, our go-to is anything else. It's food, it's our particular brand of music, it's whatever. But we should try to go to Krishna, even if we can't stay with it, and we still have to put on the heavy metal song to release our anger or whatever it is, or eat that pint of whatever bona fide ice cream is out there in a pint. But thank you. I appreciate those reflections. Jamuna Jaya.
Hare Krishna, Yana. Thank you so much for class. There's so many things that you said that really were so beautiful. So I won't say them all. Let other people reflect. They'll talk really fast, as I do. So one of the things, your definition of who's devotee really was really wonderful. You say one that looks for God. And I really thought that was really wonderful because we see, and then you sort of said it in another way, that there's so many, there are their faiths or their paths. I think of my mother as a devotee, and she looks for God and Lord Jesus and her path. So I really love that definition. And then the other thing that I really loved is that when you talked about association, the reason we feel safe when we're around a devotee, something that Guru Dev always says is that, and Adi says this often in class, when you're around devotees, they're at least trying to please Krishna, which means they're taking their own selfish motivation out of the center of the circle. Some Guru Dev says all the time. And that's why you feel safe, because it's not like each individual person looking out for me, looking out for me, looking for me. So then you feel like you have to have your dukes up. Instead, you know that everyone is serving something higher than yourself. Sort of like in the mundane world, when friends get together to plan a party or appreciation for someone, it automatically their ego gets put to the side. So you feel safe, you can relax, and you can be held, and you can open up. And there's one last thing, and when you said about traveling around in the van, something I can obviously relate to. Spent most of my life doing that. I wasn't Krishna conscious at the time. And I just remember always feeling like I was performing with these people, I was living with these people, but I had nothing in common with them at all. And it was only when I came to this path that I could actually breathe and relax and say I have friends because I could feel people talking on a different level. So thank you for reminding me of all that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for all those reflections. Beautiful. Looking at the chat here, listening to YouTube. Up on Zoom. Oh, thank you very much, Kartik. Oh, that was, okay. I realized that was direct message. You saw that now. Okay. I wanted to say one other thing about Ishwari saying how to look for Krishna. Revisit the Gita. I think, are the chapters 7 and 10, maybe 7 and 10, where Krishna tells us how to see him in everything, whether it's the taste of water, the sun, of fishes, I am the shark, all these different variations just in nature, just seeing Krishna everywhere. You can always do that. Any other comments or reflections? I can.
Temple room. Let's see if the temple room has anything to contribute.
Okay.
Jambavan.
Jambavan Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your class, and thank you so much for being such an amazing example for like someone who practices this culture but still keeps a youthful energy and an approachable energy. It means a lot to us neophytes, who are still like trying to practice this culture. So thank you very much. Like I've seen you do stand up, and I've recorded some things, and it's really nice to see someone in the movement relatable, relatable, where it's like, okay, so my quirky, crazy ideas are not just going in the air. There's someone who's practicing this thing and doing them. So thank you very much for that.
That's exceedingly kind of you, Jambavan Prabhu. Thanks so much. Hare Krishna.
Gail?
Gail?
Hey, Krishna.
Speak to me. Hare Krishna.
Hello, my dear cousin brother.
Yes, my sister. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, you're always a must hear for me. So
very sweet.
When you were in the beginning of your talk, when you were saying that, Krishna doesn't really need us, he's self-sufficient in terms of his happiness. And everything else, And in that context, you use the term Atmanivedana.
Yes.
And I was expecting to hear you say Atmarama.
Atmaram, yes.
So I wasn't accustomed to hearing Atmanivedana used in that way. So can you explain that term for me?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up, because I realized.
Okay, I just, one more thing is just that, I think the sense in which I'm usually accustomed to hearing it is like in like one's full self-surrender.
Yes. Yeah. This is not going to take long. I just misspoke.
Oh, okay.
I have other things on my mind, and I misspoke. And it does mean to fully give oneself. Atmaram is self-sufficient. So thank you for the clarification.
No, I just didn't know if there was like another sense of that word. So I just wanted to.
No, I'm glad you brought it up so that I could correct it.
Okay, Yadunath.
Okay.
Hope to
thanks,
see you
Deb.
soon. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Haribol. Bhakti Center Prabhu.
Morning. Can you hear me okay?
Very well, thank you.
So thank you so much for your class again, reflecting Prabhu's comments. What comes across is your sincerity. You're speaking from your heart about something genuine. We were talking the other day about Holden Caulfield in the Catcher in the Rye book. You know that book?
A little bit.
He's a young student, and throughout the novel, he's talking about how many people are phony. Friends, some of the adults in his life, they're phonies. You know, we're hearing these wonderful, affectionate relationships in these verses about how the people were embracing and showing love for each other. And in this world, we see a perverse reflection of that. Purva Paksha means, on the other hand, there's material life, or even people that pretend to be your friend or pretend to be your well-wisher. They just don't have it. And what's missing is the connection with Krishna. And our experience, our personal experience by Prabhupada's grace, going out and distributing books and collecting donations, we talk to everyone, no matter what they look like, no matter what they smell like, whether they're old or young or fat or poor or wealthy or, you know, highly educated, whatever. And because the intention is to give, the intention is to bring an opportunity for them to engage in Krishna's devotional service, even though you meet someone just for a moment or two, all that phony, crazy stuff falls away, and there's a genuine conversation. And within a moment or two, a person engages in devotional service. But without devotional service, everything is just pseudo friend, pseudo lover. Even if you sleep in the same bed with someone, if your relationship is not based on devotional service, it's just a phony, you know, empty envelope. So you brought up that point. We're just repeating. So Prabhupada tells us, engage in devotional service to Krishna and everything else will be there. Your genuine affection for everyone. And that's so cool. Because this world is just so weird and so strange and insane. And when last time you gave class, we accused you of sanity. You said we accused you of sanity. And when we hear that in your sincerity, because you're serving Krishna and trying to help us to serve Krishna. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. You just reiterating that even one who makes a meager attempt can make some progress. Manohar Prabhu, did you want to say something?
Hi, Krishna. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Thank you for the class. I have one question. It's already over time, so maybe for the afterglow. What would be your practical advice on how to practice developing the relationships that are exhibited in this pastime, where they're just in ecstasy seeing each other? How can we practice developing those relationships with other Vaishnavas?
Nice question. Look for their good qualities. And I'll try to make this quick. Look for their good qualities and meditate on their good qualities and develop that eagerness and be really aware of Krishna coming through them. Look for Krishna in their heart and be grateful. Express gratitude. I'm a little in my head right now because I'm seeing that they're blowing the conch shell. So those are a few things there, and maybe you and I can talk about it next time I see you a little further. Okay, Prabhu? Hare Krishna. Thank you all.
Thank you, Yadunath Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, darshan time. Turn on your cameras, please, if you can.
Hmm. Shri Radha Murida Gaura Chandana Simha Bhagavan ki Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. I once ran into Jamuna Jaya on the street and I was in ecstasy. I fell into ecstasy when I ran into her because we had done some service together. We had attended the same class before. So when I saw her, naturally, I fell into ecstasy. So that's the secret. Do some service, go through something together. And then when you see that person next time, you'll fall into ecstasy without any artificial imposition. Right, Jamuna Jaya? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Reflections, comments, please. This is the Afterglow. Krishna Kumari, you had your hand up during class. Would you like to speak?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, how to appreciate each other, right? Pretty amazing that we need to hear that from the Bhagavatam. But it does spark something, you know, in reflecting on how I respond when I see people. And I was starting to go through, you know, times where you see people and everybody doesn't even say hello sometimes. It's like, oh, we all just know each other. And, you know, there's other times. Anyway, I just thought I should work on that to, you know, to just even make it a point to greet others. I appreciated that. I was also thinking about the My Sweet Lord, and yeah, there was a time where I had to share my journal with people, and you know, I I didn't want to write my journal to Krishna because people get so confused because my name's Krishna Kumari. They think I'm like an impersonalist, even though they don't know what that is. And so I really started feeling like my sweet Lord, or I would write to Radha Govinda, who are my lords. Yeah, so I found myself many times singing that song just spontaneously in a store, you know, in distress. I think the sentiment is just, yeah, I really do want to know my Lord. I want to know more. And I was reading the prayers of Queen Kunti last night. I normally read them with my old time friends of 30 years, but some are on pilgrimage and others couldn't come. So I still wanted to read it. And there was this sense Queen Kunti is saying like this, you know, like in Prabhupada's and is speaking to what Queen Kunti is saying, like to know the qualities of Krishna is so important, to know his pastimes. So yeah, this class is very full. My mother's birthday was New Year's Eve, and when I saw her, I told her my gift for her was that I wish she had pure love of God, and she said, "Oh, I already have that." And I was thinking, oh, you know, us devotees, we're always thinking we don't have it. She's just like, "Oh, I have love of God." Like, anyway, what more could you ask for? Krishna.
Nice. Thank you, Krishna Kumari. We all have love of God. Krishna loves us unconditionally. We all have that in that sense. No problem. All right. Would anyone else like to speak? I saw Madan Gopal here briefly. I wonder if he's still here. Madan Gopal Prabhu, would you like to reflect?
Hare Krishna. Basin says, yes, I think this, thank you so much. This concept of appreciating each other as devotees, it's so critical. It is like the final protection against complete self-destruction, which happens in the form of offense to devotees. We take it too lightly. Oh yeah, it's okay. But this mad elephant offense, which we hear about again and again, it's pretty serious. It kills our spirit. It completely stunts our growth. You know, sometimes, you know, how some devotees, they say that, yeah, in the beginning, you know, I had so much joy and ecstasy in Krishna consciousness. Gradually started going down. That's not how it should be. With time, it should be even more. It should be even more exciting. It should be even more fresh. You know, we should be even more in love. So then what is the reason why it's actually regressing, even though we may be externally doing more practice? We have learned more. We know more technicalities and so on. Why is it? It's because we take for granted, or we don't understand the eroding effect of developing offensive attitudes toward devotees. You know, in the beginning, the devotees look like Vaikuntha angels. Oh, these people are, I wish I could just touch their feet every single day, 3 times a day. They're just wonderful. And then gradually, you know, with familiarity, we get contempt. Yeah, actually, you know, he's not that great as I thought he was, you know, or she's like, okay, she's all right. She's actually pretty ordinary. And then that's how it starts, you know. Uh, but if we can maintain the fact that, look, the universe is so large, And there's so many living creatures. Out of all those living creatures, only a few are humans. Out of all the humans, only a few are civilized. Out of all the civilized, only a few care about God. Of those that care about God, only a few understand it. Of those who understand the importance of it, only a few actually practice pure Krishna consciousness or some sort of Krishna consciousness. And that's in a small circle. And now even among those, I try to find fault and try to see them as ordinary. They are not ordinary, just statistically speaking. We just talked about the stats. So even from that point, we can appreciate, you know. So even doesn't mean we treat all devotees the same. You know, in the Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami tells us that we approach different categories of devotees differently. But the lowest category of devotee, we offer respects from a distance, but we offer respects. That means the respect has been the heart. So even if a devotee we know whose proximity won't do us any benefit, sometimes there are devotees like that, they're practicing, but it's better to stay away from them because the way they do certain things is fine. But in our heart, we give them respect from a distance, then we'll be safe. So it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do because it's so conditioned to find fault, whatever reason. So Krishna Kumari, I appreciate your comment. This appreciating of each other. It's something that's so wonderful. I mean, this whole topic that came up, Yadunath Prabhu brought us so beautifully. And this is what makes a society of devotees attractive. This is what makes this circle so attractive. And it's attractive to souls of all stripes and all backgrounds. Doesn't matter where you work. See, this is my workplace. It's a very impersonal, cold place. Looks like a refrigerator. That's where I work. It's what it is. I'm in New York City right now. And of course it's warmer outside. Is a refrigerator right now, but it doesn't matter. We all have different backgrounds, but the circle attracts all of us if you're fortunate enough to come into it. So thank you all for being the warmth in my life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Don't ever look down on the office space. There may be a devotee of Madan Gopal Prabhu's caliber working there. Please don't judge. Okay, Adipusha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Fantastic discussion. The Beatles made this one quote. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. You ever hear that? And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love that you make. In other words, like Prabhu was saying, like we can invest in encouraging people in devotional service and facilitating their faith in Krishna, or we can flatter their false ego and pamper their, prajalpa and sense gratification. So that's if we like we're talking about that Sankirtan analogy, when we're talking to people on Sankirtan, if the intention and the endeavor is there to include them in devotional service, to share that with them, instantly there's a relationship, and there's love there. It's miraculous, and it's a miracle of devotional service. Anyway, that's all. I'm sorry. Wonderful comments, everybody. Well, glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. Thank you. I was once talking to my mentor in Bhakti, and they were telling us a story about this devotee who was in jail. And they said it so casually. Oh, this devotee is in jail. Like, he's in jail briefly. And I was like, what? A devotee in jail? Doesn't he know about the four regulative principles? Does that person considered a devotee being in jail? And the mentor said, of course. He's just in jail. We're all human beings. Things happen. And the jail situation does not stop his devotee status in any way. And that really shook my, neophyte concept in my head. Oh, this is four regulative principles, 16 rounds, that's a devotee. Beneath that, this external thing should be abandoned and transcended. Nothing can disqualify us from being an aspiring devotee in some way. And we shouldn't judge and just appreciate everybody.
Once Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he was away for a while, and Prabhupada asked him, "Hey, where you been?" I think it was Shyam Sundar Prabhu, and Shyam Sundar Prabhu said, "Prabhupada, I was in jail."
Yeah.
I hope you're not angry. No. Krishna was born in jail.
Yeah, that's right.
And then why were you in jail? Well, for drug dealing. Oh yeah, I also used to sell drugs, because he used to be a pharmacist. He was like so cool about it.
Yeah.
It was so sweet. He's like, don't make a big deal of it. I love you. That's what matters.
Nice. That's a wonderful one-liner. Don't make a big deal of it. I love you. Cool. Thank you, Mananga.
Jai.
Thank you. All right. Krishna loves us. All right. Krishna Kumari, please say Hare Krishna, and we're going to wrap up the yagya.
Hare Krishna.
So sweet. Thank you. Thank you.